Soon, my Treasury Secretary, Tim Geithner, will announce a new strategy for reviving our financial system that gets credit flowing to businesses. This budget also reflects the stark reality of what we've inherited: a $1 trillion deficit, a financial crisis, and a costly recession. To restore the availability of affordable loans for families and businesses, not just banks, we are taking steps to restart the flow of credit and stabilize the financial. With the fiscal mess we've inherited and the costs of this financial crisis, I've proposed a budget that cuts our deficit in half by the end of. If we continue to let banks and other financial institutions around the world act recklessly and irresponsibly, that affects institutions here at home as credit dries up and people can't get loans to buy a home or a car, to run a small business, or pay for college. In response, this week, my administration proposed a set of major reforms to the rules that govern our financial system, to attack the causes of this crisis and to prevent future crises from taking place, to ensure that our markets can work fairly and freely for businesses and consumers alike. Many feared that our financial system was on the verge of collapse. Earlier in the week, we learned that the manufacturing sector has posted its first gains in 18 months, and that many of the banks that borrowed money at the height of the financial crisis are now returning it to taxpayers with interest. That's why, at next week's G20 summit, we'll discuss some of the steps that are required to safeguard our global financial system and close gaps in regulation around the world, gaps that permitted the kinds of reckless risk-taking and irresponsibility that led to the crisis. I want to hear from CEOs and small business owners, economists and financial experts, as well as representatives from labor unions and nonprofit groups about what they think we can do to spur hiring and get this economy moving again. Bank or financial institution won't spread like a virus throughout the entire financial system, because we should never again find ourselves in the position in which, so far though, they have ferociously fought financial reform. By a 5-4 vote, the court overturned more than a century of law, including a bipartisan campaign finance law written by Senators John McCain and Russ Feingold that had barred corporations from using their financial clout to directly interfere with elections by running advertisements for or against candidates in the crucial closing weeks. This year, to pull our financial system back from the brink and get our economy moving again. But when so many people are still struggling, in the absence of such rules, our financial markets spun out of control, credit markets froze, and our economy nearly plummeted into a second Great Depression. To make college more affordable for millions of middle-class Americans for whom the cost of higher education has become an unbearable burden, we're expanding federal Pell Grants for students, increasing them to keep pace with inflation in the coming years, and putting the program on a stronger financial footing. Above all, this crisis was caused by the failures in the financial industry. Finally, we're bringing to an end many of the emergency programs designed to stabilize the financial sector and restart lending so folks could finance cars and trucks, as well as homes and small businesses. Over the past few weeks, as we've debated reforms to hold Wall Street accountable and protect consumers and small businesses in our financial system, we've come face to face with the great power of special interests in the workings of our democracy. The reform bill being debated in the Senate will not solve every problem in our financial system. No bill could.